So another thing that can make these interactives fun to look at is animation. So you see on the home page how a visual biography comes up and then these lines move over. Let me show you again. So the name comes up and then the lines move over. So I put a little animation on that one. On timeline, the lines come down and sink into the numbers. And on the typography page, the lines come down and sync up to where the buttons are. So there's some simple things like that you can do with animation, and it's really easy. So for example, these lines, I have these lines sliding over. Now all this happens when the page loads, and it happens one thing at a time. So if this is the first thing I set up, it's the first piece of animation that happens. This was the first piece I set up though, the visual biography. So let's go to interactive animation. And you can see what I've got that one doing is just appearing. So it's invisible and then it just appears. When you have animation in your document, make sure that it makes sense. Don't just have things bouncing and moving and sliding. Go for meaning. In this case, you'll see the design genius of Alvin Lustig, and then a visual biography comes up secondary. And then there's just a slight movement in those lines in the background. So it's just enough to kind of add meaning to that. On this page that has the hide and show buttons, I've got this piece. And make sure that nothing is on top of any buttons. So this is behind the buttons. The buttons have to be the topmost object. And you can see the line, the animation line. This one is flying in from the top. So this is a preset, and you can see all the presets they have. You can make things fly in from any angle. You can have them grow large, grow small, and then down at the bottom, the spin, swoosh, wave, everything from bounce down. Avoid unless it just totally makes sense, because it can go real cheesy fast. So once you set up that animation, there's all kinds of things you can do. So this is a preset. You can change the duration. That's how long it takes for it to animate. You can have it play over and over, loop, or just place once or twice. The speed that it goes, you can put the ease in and ease out. And these are things you just play with. You change a setting, and then you preview it, and you say, oh, that's too slow, and then you speed it up. In this specific instance, I want this to land where it currently is. So I could animate from here. It could go down, but in this case, it's coming down and landing here. And that's the same thing I did for these. I have it where I want it to land, and so I have it animates to the current location. So it's going to start with it off the page, and then this is the movement. And so this is something that you can, change the movement so it's shorter. Try to put animation in based on meaning, something you're trying to emphasize or make it stand out. Don't do gratuitous animation just to make it interesting. So this one, because this is such a simple layout, and you know what I'll do is I'll have the red slide into view. So the red box is going to fly in from the right to where it's at right now. So let's preview this and see if it's too fast enough. And it'll do it on the page load. No buttons are with animation. So there's that, and then boop, this just appears behind it, which is okay. Another thing you could do is instead of that, you could delete that animation and make this one slide in. I'm going to make this animate fly in from the left to the current location. Let's try that. It's pretty fast. So in this case, I would slow it down, give it a little bit more duration. Now it's kind of too slow. So you get the gist, right? It's just a matter of playing with these animation. I would do it at the last stage when you're all done and you just want to add a little bit something different to give it a little bit of movement, a little bit of style.